Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 for the PC. The game was developed by Nihon Falcom and published by NIS America and released in 2020. This is the third chapter in the game's series and franchise and continues on from the events of the previous two other games. However, has to wait for the PC release, being worth it or not though. Here's a review. The game's story continues on after the events of Cold Steel 2's. It's been over a year and a half now, and things have changed a fair bit in Erebonia. Reans now has essentially taken over the role that Sarah had, and now teaches a brand new Class 7, who are quite different from the original game's cast. Whilst teaching, Reans is also ordered by the Imperial government to resolve numerous conflicts arising all over Erebonia, of which his old Class 7 classmates assist him with. The game's story in this chapter will focus more on Reans' origins, the Divine Knights, and will lead up to just exactly what's been planned and laid out by Chancellor Osborne this entire time. If you have already played the past two titles, then you're going to know what to expect with the previous cast, as they all pretty much do make an appearance here in some shape or form. It's the newcomers to the franchise which might surprise some people, however, as this new Class 7, for example, is very different from the original cast. With the first game, I found the characters a bit hit and miss with how they came across, and while I liked most of the game's original cast, there were a few who just came across as unlikable or unrealistic to me. In this game, the new cast come across as that little bit more realistic, and they do seem much more honest in how they feel with the events that are transpiring across Erebonia at the time. In short, this game's cast is much bigger and better than before, and I only really have good things to say about this, because everything just feels like it's been improved upon. If you're a fan of the past two Cold Steel games, and are wondering if anything here is being changed drastically, then don't worry. Thankfully, everything is pretty much the same as it was before with the past two titles, with only a few things changed here and there. The opening system has been changed a little bit, combat is still turn-based but has a few things added to it, and during the game's story you're going to be doing the same type of routine stuff that you've been doing in the past two other games. The gameplay is pretty much the same as it was before, only that it's had a few more features added to it, and a couple of things made a bit more streamlined and made easier to understand for newcomers to the game's franchise. But really, everything is practically the same as it was before, so don't worry. It's still a great turn-based system that we love, and it's still the same great game that we fell in love with when we first started with this series. With this game's graphics, the graphical area was meant to be a big deal with the PC release, as it claimed that the PC version would have better and crisper graphics than what the PS4 release had, and it would have more options available to users, such as higher frame rates, better MSAA, and many more. So, does this make the PC release the definitive edition then? Well, I would have to say with the graphics side of things, yes, definitely. I have played this game on the PS4, and pretty much right away when I played the PC version, you can see a difference. Things are just that little bit more better, and everything just looks and feels that more polished and a finer product. I don't really have any negative things to say about this game's graphics, because you're given not only a lot of choices, but everything just looks that much more fantastic. It's a great game, which looked great originally, but now just looks that much more bigger and better than it has done before. Just like the game's graphics side of things, all environments which you will be exploring are now bigger and better than previously. Even past locations which you explored in the previous two other titles now have that fresh look and feel to them, with the game's graphics being turned up a notch. Everything looks improved upon, from the game's character models to the world's resolution textures and everything else. It just looks better. Areas which you will explore now also seem bigger than what they previously did in the other games, and transition from new area to new area seems that much faster and more easier as well. Just like what I said in my review of Cold Steel 2, My personal favourite part about this game's environments is going to past locations that you have done in the other games and seeing just how things have changed. You really do get a sense of feel in this game that the world is constantly changing with each new release that you come across. Areas which you visited in the very first game are now quite different in this third one. And that's one of the things that I really like about this game's franchise. You see not only characters grow, but locations as well. With this part of the review, I am going to be blunt. If you are looking at this game and plan to buy it, then the chances are pretty high that's because you played the past 2 other titles. If you haven't played those past 2 other titles, then I really would recommend that you play those before you touch this, as otherwise you're going to be completely and utterly lost. Even if you have played those past 2 other titles, this game's story and events within this game will also reach out to fans of Trail in the Sky, Zero and Azure. So if you have played those games in the past, then you're going to be getting rather giddy, as certain characters and events will make a surprise appearance. However, if you have never played any of those past games before, then these parts of the game may be lost on you, and some important characters or events in the story might just fly completely over your head. It's a fantastic addition to this game, and it really is a huge treat for past gamers who followed this franchise right from the very beginning. But for newcomers, this might just appear a little bit confusing. Honestly, I would recommend playing the past titles first, as I do think that they are all fantastic games, but I can understand why some people may not want to do this. I'm not saying that you have to, but really to get the very most and get everything out of this game, within this game, for the events and everything that will also happen in the 4th title, then I really think you should. Would I recommend Trials of Cold Steel 3? Yes, I would. If you loved 1 and 2, things are only going to get better with the 3rd, and things are only even going to get better with the 4th. Well, that's it for this review, guys. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.